Hi everyone, welcome to the show. We are here today with Weam Namou, who is based in Michigan now, but she has very interesting origins that we're going to talk about soon. And what is the topic today? Today we're going to talk about how many creatives today in all, cinematography, art, and composition, music, and whatever, they're just feeling a little bit paralyzed because we have the real fear of being replaced by artificial intelligence and in particular by LLMs, nano bananas and all this stuff that can reproduce all we do. And, Suno and all these programs and software that we think are going to replace us. And so we are in fear. And as you guys know, if you've been following me for all these 5.5 years, when we have fear, we cannot have faith. We cannot have hope. We have high cortisol. We are worried. And so we forget what we can do that is good for us, and we retreat in a shell. Maybe we just complain and victimize. So I really want to talk about the mindset behind this and the fear of being replaced and thinking we're going to be erased. Now, William, you are able now to introduce yourself, say who you are, and also because you faced a kind of erasure in your life when you were much younger than now, and you have this displacement in your life. You have the feeling of being out of place. It's not quite right. And you had to do a shift. So let's talk about you a little bit and then put it into the how your life and your life growth is now helping you as a very well-known author of 20 books and cinematographer and much more. So the microphone is all yours now.
Well, thank you so much, Franz, for this opportunity to interview me about my work. And we had a few minutes to chit chat before the interview, and I found your story amazing as well. And I think nobody really can replace, AI can't replace your stories. They can help you magnify them. So depending on the purpose, what your God-given purpose is, you can use these tools to really enhance what you're doing. And so it all starts from the beginning. And in my case, the beginning of my story is I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, as a minority Christian. We're Chaldeans, Christian Iraqis, and came to the US at the young age of 10, and that was in 1981. And at that time, we had to even leave in secrecy. We had to leave Iraq in secrecy because Saddam had just come into power. And so we came through Amman, Jordan, and we were not told why we were leaving or anything like that. It was just once we got here, we realized this is our new home. So this was a huge, not only culture shock with regards to the new lifestyle, but also just discovering that, oh, I'm never going to see my friends again. Oh, I'm never going to be connected to my birthland. Or as a child, that was my viewpoint. And that's when it sunk in. And of course, that was traumatizing in many ways because I didn't understand what was going on. And my whole family was kind of like on survival mode. So they didn't sit me down to explain it. It was many years later, me thinking that what I wanted to be was a writer. And I did want to be a writer. But over the years, the more you communicate with God, the more you look deeper into your faith and you look deeper and deeper and deeper to see what's the purpose. Why was I born in Iraq? Why did we immigrate to this country? So I was a child. I didn't make choices. Sometimes we say, we make our own choices. Not all of the choices are made by us. They start with the choices that are made by our parents, by our siblings, or other people that affect our life. But at some point in your life, when you start reflecting on why and how were these choices made to make sense of your life. So I realized part of me being a writer, and most importantly, is I picked up the pen to continue our stories, which were, we are the indigenous people of Iraq. We were one of the first to embrace Christianity. Many of our communities still speak Aramaic, the language of Jesus. But all of that was there was numerous attempts to wipe that out through extremism and oppression, genocide, um, different ways that these attempts were made. And then you think, well, God put me there for a reason. God saved me for a reason to come to this country where I have freedom of speech, where I can, as a woman, be a writer, express myself, and to preserve our stories and our heritage. And all of this, what I'm describing, happened over decades. It didn't happen over, me just sitting down one day and think, oh, this is why God, put me as a writer. It was over time. I'll give you an example. When the 2003 war happened, when Iraq was invaded, and this was a very difficult time for myself and my family because the US is our home, but Iraq is our birthplace. And watching that happen and feeling not only the sadness, but also the guilt of having been saved versus the people that are still there. Afterwards, the Christians, usually this happens where Christians are one of the first groups that get targeted. And so Iraq went from having 1.5 million Chaldeans to today less than 150,000. That's a big reduction. And the second, so when that happened, there was a sense over time of taking on response to tell our stories, to look deeper, to share our stories. But then the factor that really took it even further was when ISIS destroyed our ancestral land in 2014. So the town, which was the largest Chaldean town in northern Iraq, is my parents' and grandparents' birthplace. It was there for thousands of years. It was destroyed and it has never been rebuilt because people were too afraid to go back and live there because the people that were part of ISIS basically started living there. Um, so I kept looking within and saying, okay, what do I do? You can be a victim and just feel helpless and do nothing and just kind of whine or point fingers and blame, or you can use your God-given talents and your skills to serve. And I had to look really deep within to see how does my skills and talents serve? What does being a storyteller mean? I mean, how can that serve in any kind of way? Uh, excuse me, it's something that's not given as much value from where I come from. So kind of, and even to be honest, like in a lot of cultures, being a writer, that's why you have this, this myth of the starving artist type of thing, because even though people get inspired and marvel at their work, but they're not necessarily supported as well as they should be. But I always looked within, prayed, tried to find why am I telling the story? What's the purpose? And in doing that, God always gave me the tools to to help me, whether through the publishing process or the film process or get my project. I mean, honestly, sometimes I think, you know, that God was just the one taking control because I was just ready to give up. This happened especially with my feature film, my recent feature film, Pomegranate, which was released on Women's History Month, which is actually we're happy Women's History Month. We're in March, we're officially in it. And it was released exactly 1 year ago now to 25 countries and various streaming channels. And it was through the grace of God that I was able to complete this film, get it out there, tell women's stories from our community. It's a very lovely, spiritual, loving, beautiful, humorous work, but it comes from a story that is not encouraged oftentimes by my own community, although it won over 50 international awards from the rest of the world that want to see that want to see what women have to say from my community. And I credit all of that to God. And so if God is gonna, if a tool is gonna pop up, I'm not gonna just grab it out of greed and just say, oh, I'm just gonna, just to get my motive or make more money or whatever it may be. But I'm gonna look at it and, like with everything else, discern it, does this possibly work for me? If so, how? How could it improve my work? Not do my work. And by the way, anybody that thinks AI can replace humans have not used it. It is not that easy to use, but you have to tell it. The human has to be very specific on what they want from it in order for it to even give you the response. And so that it's kind of like our coffee makers. That the coffee maker is a new technology, but that didn't stop other countries from producing coffee. It didn't stop us from drinking coffee, and it didn't take away the human. Actually, right now, coffee is so expensive. When I go to the bookstore, I'm buying a coffee for $6. I'm sitting for that. I could buy a meal for like $10, somewhere else. And here I am. So, and then you have all these people working there to serve you. So they're making money. So it's really a cycle, our psychology, our fear of what something can be prevents us from using the God-given tools that we could say, hey, first of all, does this relate to me in any way? Is this something, okay, so I'm not in the coffee business, so I'm not gonna think about that. But if it's a tool related to my writing or filmmaker making, I'm gonna say, well, would that serve me? And if so, how? And let me look into that and that possibility. And what I really can say is that it's a tool to help enhance what you're already doing. But your purpose, AI can't take that away. And your purpose is what gets you up in the morning and gets you to do the work and gets you to do the good work. Right now, I'm working on a feature documentary. This is the first, my third feature. My first feature was a documentary. My second feature was Pomegranate, which is a narrative feature with actors and such. My third is a feature documentary. Now, I'm going back. It's called The Chaldean American Storyteller. And I'm going back into my childhood. And I know the stories of my childhood, and I've written them before and published them before, and the fear that existed for us. But I have some pictures of back then, not too many, and I can get footage of Baghdad. But now I can go a step further and I can reenact, which is, by the way, reenactment. They've been doing this for a long time in documentaries where they have you reenact, but you really you need a lot of funding for that, and that takes up a lot of time. So you get these actors that are representing the story. So it's not the real thing, but just so that the person watching can get a sense of what happened. Well, now we can use AI, and I have an amazing team because this is not the best part of my skill. This is where I falter, and I, talk to my team, one who is amazing in graphics, and the other one, my editor who edited Pomegranate. They're the ones, but what I have to do, I can't just say, oh, okay, you guys just take care of this. Well, I gotta create the outline that outlines the whole entire story, what's going to be the narration, what I want to see. So I am writing the entire script for the documentary, but now how do we bring it to life through visual? And I have, for instance, Midjourney, so I can understand. I can't just give them that task, not having no clue what it means to use AI. So I participate in that so that I can not only better instruct my team, but when they provide work back to me, I can say, well, can we do this and that, knowing what it's capable of? I also can appreciate their work a little bit more when I have done it because I don't just go and see like somebody who did something for half an hour and think like, oh, well, can't you just do this? I understand that you have to get these prompts and it only works this way and that. I can communicate with my team because I know what these tools are like. So I hope for anybody listening to really understand that this tool has not replaced me, cannot speak with my team, does not know my story. I have to tell it my whole story and I have to correct it a lot. Like say, wait, no, this is not what I just put in and I don't want you to use your own words. I want to use my own narration. I have to realize I'm in command. If I'm just going to rely on it, it's going to just spit back at me the same laziness, weak material that I'm giving it. People can tell. People are smart. It's how much effort you put into understanding and utilizing is the quality that you're going to get back.
There we are. Well, I like your practical approach to this. So you're saying, hey, I am an artist and trying to put things in perspective here, telling a story. So as a storyteller, you are sitting in the director's seat. Then the tools that you use are still under your direction, but just to magnify and expand what you're doing, which is born in your brain, is your brain waves, your spirituality, your soul, your neuroplasticity, your ideas, your emotions, they're all getting there. While if you start and end with a machine, you're gonna get a regurgitation of stuff that is already in the internet and it has no soul and no storytelling. And that's the huge difference. So it's so good. Do you actually use real actors or are you using AI figures moving around?
I'm using AI figures that replicate how I looked as a child and the characters, including like my mom and my sister and my niece who were part of the story.
Nice.
Yes, I'm not using actors. I want to use the closest to who I am. And by the way, for anybody that thinks I learned that there was a couple of people who have so far done AI, whether somebody just did something so beautiful about Punch, the monkey that's getting a lot of have you heard of Punch? Who's
No, probably
in a
not.
zoo in Japan. He's just so cute. His mother abandoned him as a baby,
Okay.
and the zookeepers raised him, and then now they're trying to put him amongst the other monkeys, and so it's oh my gosh, it has captured the heart of so many people. And one person did a short documentary on him. It was like a little bit less than 10 minutes using AI. So taking the visuals of Punch, the baby monkey, and in the beginning people were worried about him because he was being bullied. And then one of the mother monkeys took him into his care. And so that mothering monkey has a role. And so the AI generator who made this video made this. And when you watch it, you understand two things. The person who made it has been watching Punch for a while, studying Punch, cares about Punch, cares about what's happening. And this person is telling us a beautiful story. Can AI just create that story without the person who was touched? And people are fascinated by this monkey and are trying, he's about 7, 8 months old, trying to understand what is it that why we feel this way towards him. Well, because of the fact that he experienced abandonment, rejection, trying to figure himself. I mean, I could feel like Punch, like somebody, you're born into a situation and then you're thrown in another situation and you're bullied in your birth country and then you're bullied here in a different way. But it's those things that AI cannot replace. And so AI cannot create this heartfelt story, no matter how much, actually, I just remembered something very interesting. When I first was trying to make my first feature, The Great American Family, the documentary, and I would sit with different people to see who I'm going to partner with, whether, cinematographers or producers or what have you. And I came across a couple of people who would show me their work. Cinematag uh, on the cinematic, I can't even say the cinema part of it. Maybe this is the least interesting part for me, but it was
Right,
so loud and it was so beautiful. Like it just seemed like these beautiful people, and it looked like a infomercial for I'm not sure what. Cinematic. It was very cinematic, but there was no story. And I would sit there waiting and waiting, and then it was done, and oftentimes even not dialogue, and they're trying to impress me through what I just saw, but I didn't understand where's the story. I mean, I I didn't have to I was working on a case where a woman had gotten an unfair trial, and I thought that story was so powerful that even though it was my first documentary, all I had to rely on was that story. I didn't have to make this big, huge budget, go out of my way. It was the heart of the story that how are we gonna, what are we doing in society? How are we hurting ourselves through these unjust trials? How are we hurting women? For me, I really care about women issues. Again, possibly just in general, but possibly because I came from a regime in an area that was oppressive to women, and women are known naturally to just be so creative because we work through intuition. Yes, yes. We have that. That's part of what's beautiful. And so if you try to destroy that, you're destroying the creative aspect of Earth. It's such an important aspect. And if you look at the heart of that, you can make an amazing story. I can make a Chaldean American storyteller without the AI. I can. And I can make it a beautiful story. But if God is offering this, I would be an idiot to not say, well, thank you, God. Thank you for making this come more to life. Thank you for all these tools that's making my life easier. Thank you for the opportunity that this is more affordable than if I would have made reenactment or if I tried so hard to try to buy footage. Now people, what they used to do before is that you would go, I mean, we still do this today, but then you have to get clips and things like that, and you pay a lot of money for that. So for me, it's showing gratitude rather than fear. Um, but I, but this all started because I wasn't relying on AI. I wasn't based, my foundation is not based on creating something louder and more interesting and more costly and all this kind of stuff. It was based on preserving an amazing heritage that deserves for people to know, which I've been doing this for 30 years and I still have I'm grateful for people such as yourself who give me this opportunity. And if it wasn't for technology, I would not be able to have this interview because then I would have to fly to your state to even have this opportunity. That would be so costly. Leaving my home, leaving my family, it would be stressful. It would be costly. Um, and now that we see how technology works, it would be unnecessary, given. So I think we should show more gratitude and less fear and look and use it and not abuse it. Use it with good faith intentions and not abuse it, meaning like, you know, use somebody's voice to create something that's going to create destruction for somebody or create fear. And the more you use God's tools for the higher good, the more blessings you will receive.
There we go. I love this final thing. The more, because we have to use the soul and our heart and have this good intention also. It isn't just about, do I use this tool or not? It's how are we using it? Are we using it to just cut corners? Are we using it to make some people lose jobs? Or are we actually using it to expand what we are doing and doing it better, maybe faster, maybe it will save us some of the tedious parts and let us concentrate maybe on the creative so that our message can get there. And I'm so glad we have Zoom so we can talk, because yeah, you wouldn't want to come all the way to Wyoming just for a chat. It would be a very unimaginative way of creating stuff, because you would be wasting so much of your resources that you can use when you are there. So let's look at technology as a way that we are given to improve the lives of humanity wherever they are. And especially in this moment, I'm thinking about people who are ravaged by war, and there is a story there as well. And I will listening to these stories instead of just scrolling all the time in AI slop. And let's look at the real stories. And as a final thing, you have only a few minutes left, but is there any tip you want to give to those professionals in the wider art world who are kind of stuck in this AI panic mode in this moment? So what would be the first step they can do or take to distance themselves from all this noise? And how can they start to reclaim their creative narrative?
Okay, so I will give the advice that I heard from my editor when we were working on this. He said, in the beginning, I was resistant to AI. And he did wonder, is it going to replace his job? Is it just, you know, what? He had so many questions. And then he studied it and he realized he was wrong. I think that AI is just getting to know a certain group of people that we had misconceptions about, topics, including money. A lot of people, this misconception that rich people are da 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 da. AI is da da. But when you go into the life and learn about something, you realize, wait a minute, no, this is not how it is. Most people who have that panic have not looked into it, have not tried it. You can try it for as low as $20 a month. So I'm going to give one tip that I think anybody who is in panic mode or fear mode, go onto Google and say what your project is and what you're looking for in AI and what tool would be best. Google will give you a list of options. If it gives you 10, just look at the top 3. Study the top 3. The one that seems to serve you best, serve your project best, go and investigate it a little bit further and play around with it. Subscribe to it for 1 month. And usually most of the AI tools are initially free so that they can give you a little bit of a taste of what they do. You know, invest a couple of hours, 2 to 4 hours, just to get to understand what it's about and see how that feels. So just test it out in that sense. And if you still feel that panicky, step away and give yourself time to reconnect. Don't force it because the panic might increase. But say, you know, this is a new, something new that I want to. I mean, I had an issue with the new coffee machine that my family got me for Christmas. No, I want to, you know, I wanted to use the old fashioned. Mom, this is going to save you. This is going to, once I started using it, I started loving it. But guess what? The coffee machine doesn't just turn on by itself. It needs me. And now I'm in love with this coffee machine, and it probably, you know, loves me because I take good care of it. So give AI a chance. Just go and, you know, have fun, research it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good approach. So that let's use it smartly so that we can improve our lives, improve the world, and let us not go down in conspiracy theories that we're going to be destroyed by AI. Maybe, but at least we have done something good, which is to live a rich life centered with intention and doing the best we can in the circumstances where we are. And hopefully you guys want to research what Weam is doing and all the work she's doing. She's been published. She's She won awards. What is it you haven't done? It's incredible. Find out what she's done and look up. What was the name of your movie that you said you done recently?
Watch Pomegranate. You'll love it. It's
Right,
available on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube. It's a fun, meaningful film.
right. It's a fun and meaningful film. And also remember the great American family.
Yes, yes, that's a very important story. Yep.
So I just want to thank you so much for your time here. It's been so good. And I could talk the whole time, but I want you to have a last word. Do you remember or speak any Aramaic in this moment?
I do. So I'm just gonna say, Shlama Elochon, hello to you, everybody. And yeah, I know the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. And I just had a guest. By the way, I do have a podcast. If people are interested on my YouTube channel, Weam Namou, and I just interviewed somebody yesterday on my podcast who's from Denmark, who studied for 30 years Aramaic and was saying, yeah, and he was saying how interesting the meaning is, how much deeper when he read the
Right?
Testament in Aramaic, and how the, when we translate and everything
Yeah,
like that, meanings change. So yeah, he was an incredible guest as well.
amazing.
Again, look at what technology. He's in Denmark, hours away, and here I am, and
Right?
him and I, we were able to communicate, and we were able to address a language that's dear to both of us, Aramaic.
Amazing. You guys, you have to be so excited about this. And also, we would like to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for following us. Subscribe, like, so the show can be seen and heard from more people. And thank you so much for doubling the audience this month. We ended up with hundreds of downloads just from a single episode, so I'm very happy. And would you like to say bye-bye in Aramaic?
sh- Shlama Lochon.
There we go.
Push Bishlama. Oh, Push Bishlama. Sorry.
Shukran.
Push Bishlama.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank
See you
you.
all next week. Bye.
Bye bye.